Hi, I'm Thomas.
And I'm Srine.
And we're chasing a plate.
Today we're in Kyoto, Japan. Kyoto is known as the cultural capital of Japan, and there are dozens of shrines and temples to explore. Today we're at Fushimi Inari Shrine, but first, food. The thing to eat in this area are inari and kitsune udon. So the shrine is dedicated to the god of rice, and you'll see sculptures of foxes, which are kitsune in Japanese, and they are the messengers of the god of rice. And it's said that the kitsune's favorite foods are inari sushi and kitsune udon or soba. Inari sushi is really, really good. If you've never tried it, you might look at it and sort of think it looks a bit boring, a bit tasteless, but trust us, it is the best. Basically, it's a rice ball that's been filled inside a deep fried tofu skin, and the tofu skin is really sweet because it's been marinated in mirin, which is a really low alcohol rice wine, sugar, vinegar and soy sauce, and it is so juicy. I'm gonna get in and try it. That tofu skin is so moist. The sweet flavor of that with the rice, oh, that's just heaven. You have to try inari when you're here. The udon is really simple. It's just in a simple broth and spring onion and strips of the tofu skin. Udon are a wheat noodle. These are quite soft, but they're thick, they're bouncy, they're just really comfort food style eating, you can call it that. And like the spring onion, the tofu skin, it's all just like, you feel so healthy when you eat it. The broth is really delicious too. Just like a dashi, which is a seasoning for stock, and a bit of soy, maybe a miso too flavor. Oh, that's just killer. I just can't get enough of inari. This one, the rice has got tiny little fish inside, and also black sesame. There's so much flavor in the tofu, it's unbelievable.
I've gone with not the local traditional dish, but an absolute classic. Curry with soba noodles. So soba are a buckwheat noodle, Japanese curry, and this sauce is the thickest, most luscious thing in the world. So I'm just going to have some sauce to start with. Oh wow. Oh, that's so good. It's a great thickness. It's really smooth actually though when you eat it. It's actually a little bit spicier than most Japanese curries I've ever had. It's not spicy, not at all. The Japanese curry generally is very mild. It's just, oh wow. Is it turmeric in Japanese curry? Why is it so yellow? I'm gonna find out a bit more about that. But I'm gonna try the noodles. This is tofu, spring onions, and the noodles. It's like Sheena's. It's just so simple. It's all about the curry. Like, the curry is king. So they're coated, the noodles are coated in the curry. The tofu is really soft. It's almost like egg actually. It's tofu definitely, but it's like a scrambled egg that's been diced almost. Oh, this is great. It's super hot outside, like 30 degrees centigrade. This is normally what you'd think to have in the cold weather, but man alive, it's almost cooling, like having this hot, beautiful curry. It just makes your body, oh yeah, I'll cool down. That's so good. So we did some research, and it's pretty interesting about the Japanese curry. It was introduced to Japan by the British during the British occupation of India, and it's basically just curry powder and some oil and stuff, so really simple. So it would be turmeric if it's coming from India, and that's why it's so yellow. It's so interesting, these little facts you learn. I love that about food, when you eat it, but you don't really think about it. And then, like, because of what we do, we often want to know that little bit of knowledge. And it's so cool that you can just grab Google, look it up. It's like, wow, so it came here from the British via India? Crazy. And I'm so glad it has, because it's incredible.
I'm with the foxes on that one. Those two dishes could definitely become firm favourites. We ate at Oukujidokoro Inari restaurant, quite close to the station. Get here if you're in the area. Time to go and check out the shrine. So the god of rice was also a patron of business, and people come here to give thanks and pray for prosperity. And all of these torii gates have been donated by businesses to give thanks for their prosperity. Incredible. Fushimi Inari Temple was beautiful, very atmospheric, especially those orange torii gates. They were incredible. On your way up to the temple, there are a ton of street food stands, so you can grab a snack from there if you feel like it. But it wouldn't be a chasing a plate kind of day if there wasn't an ice cream involved. And we spotted something pretty damn interesting on the way in, so let's go and find it. Tofu soft serve. It's really creamy and it really does taste like tofu. I got a mix, so I got plain tofu and green tea tofu.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. That tofu soft serve was epic. Fun fact, it is rude in Japan to walk while you're eating. So if you have got some street food with you, you should find a place to sit and finish it there, or find a place to stand and just eat on the spot. We are now heading to Gion, Kyoto's most famous geisha district.
We've arrived in the district of Gion, which is the traditional geisha district, and it's super weird because there are tourists everywhere. Of course we're part of the problem here, but it's like Disneyland for geishas. It's like the buildings are beautiful, this area is so nice, but because the buildings are so beautiful and the geishas are coming out of like little alleyways and stuff, and there might be like 50 people with their cell phones out and cameras and stuff, and it's super strange.
We haven't really been taking photos because it feels intrusive.
I said to Sheena, this is like being at a zoo for geishas. We've left the geisha area. It was super beautiful like we said, but kinda weird as we said. So we got out of there and just had a nice explore.
It's time for dinner, and we couldn't think of what to eat, so default position is always ramen.
So we've come to Ippudo for ramen, and there's a bit of a story about why we've chosen this particular restaurant. If you know of Ippudo, you'll know that it's a chain, and it is all around the world now. We've had it in Australia and Japan, but I definitely know it's in other countries too.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu. And it's a bit like the Starbucks of ramen restaurants. It's a proper big chain now. And this is not the place we'd normally go. I mean, if you had a local owner-operated cafe versus Starbucks, we're going to go to the local owner-operated cafe every single time, because that's what we do, and we like to discover new places to show you guys. But I'm going to throw to Sheena to explain the story about why we've chosen to come here tonight.
So our first ramen experience was at Ippudo in Fukuoka 6 years ago, and it totally blew our minds. I ordered the spicy mince ramen, which I had that first time. Thomas had this too for the first time, and he ordered it like spice level 5, which is just off the charts, and he basically couldn't taste the bowl of ramen, but I just loved it. So I am super keen on trying it again. Gonna add sesame. So it's just the ramen noodles. I added a soft boiled egg. It's got spring onion and then like the spicy mince. So we had it, you know, 6 years ago. So we're taking a bit of a trip down memory lane. That tonkotsu broth. So Ippudo specialize in tonkotsu ramen. So the broth is made from simmering pork bones for hours and hours, and so it becomes really creamy and milky. And that, with the spice, is damn good. I'm gonna begin with the noodles. They say with ramen, you have basically 7 minutes before the noodles start deteriorating in the broth. So, firm, so a bit of bite, really good. And when you eat ramen, you're allowed to slurp, because slurping shows your appreciation of the food. It cools down the ramen, and it apparently enhances the nuanced flavour of the broth. One of our subscribers, Tosh T, reminded me of that, so thank you, Tosh T.
I went with the classic ramen here. I'm really keen to try this because it's just a simple broth. Now my 7 minutes is rapidly ticking, so I'm going to get in pretty quick and just give it a go. The broth's a really nice thickness. It's actually quite watery compared to some other ones. It's good. I'm going to add things. I'll just try it first with the noodles, but I think it's definitely worth me adding. There's ginger, and you can get garlic cloves and mustard leaves. I think I'll be adding some stuff to just bring it all up another level, enhance it a bit. That broth coats those noodles so well. Oh, this is meat. Beautiful piece of pork. That is just going to be the most tender thing. I'm just ripping that apart with my chopsticks. The classic egg, which you have to get in a ramen. If you don't have an egg in your ramen, you're missing out so badly. Look at that. Oh. So if you've never had ramen, or you're in a place and you want to make sure you get a good one, look up Ippudo, because it's all around the world. It's got such a high standard. After now having it, this is the 3rd location we've had it. So Sydney, Fukuoka, which was the original Ippudo, which I think is pretty cool for our first ever one. And now having it here, the standard is incredible, and it's so worth getting. I'm going to add some bits, get into this, and my 7 minutes is pretty much gone. So we better stop filming and get eating, Sheena.
It's a decent bowl of ramen. It's not as mind-blowing as I remembered.
No, me neither.
But I'd certainly eat it any day.
Yep, any day of the week. But it didn't change our lives like it did 6 years ago. But also, because I didn't have the spicy one and I didn't have number 5, I'm going to wake up much happier tomorrow than 6 years ago when we had that ramen. Because it blew my socks off, literally.
Such a great day in Kyoto. Thank you so much for watching. We hope we've inspired you to eat and explore like a traveller, not a tourist.
Sayonara!